Good evening, Final Fantasy Randomizer fans. Welcome to the Pup and Pulse Variety Hour, the final episode before the Duckling Derby starts. I am the man after midnight at Dead Pulse. Joining me is Gregory Puff, who went to go get a drink literally as we started, so I'll introduce him more when we get back.
Oh, I'm already back.
Oh,
Like
that
that's how
was
quick
oh my goodness! Winner of the spring
I know.
tournament 2021, Gregory Puff, fastest water getter in the West.
Yeah, I mean, I was very parched, so I needed some water here. So I'm very excited about this run. I caught a little bit at the beginning of it, so I'm super excited to just talk about this run and go over some things. So yeah, go on ahead, continue.
Oh yeah. So, first things first. We just finished boot camp week 6 on Sunday, which means that it was also the final of the Platy Party, which I'm pleased to announce. Congratulations to Shumbabi for taking that all. Also, congrats to Saracen for coming in second, ADR for coming in third, Pickles and Beer for rounding off the top four. This was they were. I'm not gonna lie; these flag sets were a little more challenging than boot camps have been in the past. So I want to thank everyone who participated and who really stuck it out to showcase uh, how more veteran players would be handling these flags coming in. And what else? Oh yeah, so I promised a wheel spin. So if you don't remember, way back, I said that I was also going to be giving a prize out for entrance to the Platy Party. So I got a little cute wheel here. The prize, let's see. Oh, look at that wheel. The prize is that I'm going to work with you to get a custom nickname if you choose. You can obviously deny this if you don't feel like it. But that's one of the best parts of broadcasting. When you're talking about people, usually you need a filler to get rid of some of the dead space. And a lot of times what you can do is, use their nicknames or they scream out. Like if you ever watch wrestling and, Triple H is up there and you hear, Jim Ross in the background screaming, "It's the game, the cerebral assassin," insert all of his things. That's filler. Like that's meant to excite the crowd. And we need more nicknames in this community. So I took it upon myself to appoint myself that I can dole them out. So
I mean, you
uh,
are the man after midnight.
I am the
So
man after midnight, and it is midnight somewhere. You know what I need? I don't have Twitch chat loaded up. Hold on one second.
I mean, I have Twitch chat right here. He's got yeah, do the thing.
I was
There you go.
busy. I was busy.
Oh, fantasy randomizer. It's right out. It's right there. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
that's right. I'm sharing the screen. Okay,
I
so
can see your screen.
you can see my screen. Oh
Yeah,
my goodness, the marvels of technology. I tell you what. Anywho,
like a screen within a screen is what I'm looking at right now. Pretty sure it's the
uh,
inception of screens.
uh, so what do we got here? So everybody who participated is on here. So if you participated all 3 weeks, you're on there 3 times. The only person who's not on there is going to be Shumbabi because he won it all. He gets the title already of Platimus Prime. And I felt like it would be unfair if he also got uh, the much better prize or the much lamer prize, depending on how you look at it. So
Yeah.
let's give this wheel a spin. How
There's
do
a
I
lot
do
of
this?
UFC. There's a lot of UFC references happening in chat, by the way.
Oh, we
Sarah,
have a winner. It's
is it
ADR.
ADR?
Oh my
Oh,
goodness. All right, ADR, I'm going to get with you a little bit later this week and we're going to talk about getting you a nickname if you so choose. So that was fun. I love wheel spins. We need more wheel spins, just in my life.
yeah,
Let's take that off.
yeah, yeah. It was pretty awesome. It was really good seeing it in like half a pixel, at least on my screen.
Quit complaining. You're lucky you get to see anything at all.
Referencing Phoenix over here, like by a pixel, just one little miniature pixel. ADR takes it. We
I'll
we
do
got to
a
come up with
recount.
something. Yeah,
Well, I can't have Saracen winning it. As you know, Saracen is a fellow Minnesotan, so it would be inside baseball, or inside trading, whatever. The point is,
Yeah.
let's talk about the Duck Derby.
Oh,
So
let's
I
do
think
it.
we've talked a little bit about how we prepare, but now is kind of the final stretch. So uh, let's say, Gregory Puff, that you
Yeah.
are a budding duckling, which you never got the chance to be. I'm going to add. Um, how many times would you practice this first flag set before the race, before your race?
Here's my thing. So if you really are interested and you really want to have a competitive time and you want to have a good time, but you want to be competitive as well. Not only are you practicing on your own time because obviously you want to do that, you want to get the feel of what the flags are going to be like. Because even when you randomize things and it's a randomizer, you can still get a feel of what's happening based on the way the flags are designed, right? Um,
Mhm.
I would still, no matter how much practice I get, I would still want to ping me to race or other people uh, to see how my times go up against them and then go, oh, I thought my time was good. Clearly, the vets can do this a little bit better, and then pick their brains or go back and watch their VODs if they streamed it on Twitch or whatever, and so forth and so on. So, as far as the amount of times I would be practicing this, I mean, as many times you can possibly practice it. If you have the time, get a couple seeds in, get like 3 or 4 seeds in a week if you can. If you're like a super overachiever, try to get at least 1 in a day, 1 or 2 in a day. That's asking a lot, obviously, because we all have lives. But,
Speak for
but if you're
yourself,
planning
Gregory Puff.
but if you're planning on practicing, I would throw a ping me to race out there just to just to see if you could get anybody. Yeah, you could race against another duck, and that'd be great, and it'd be fun to talk about how the seed went. I mean, that's how me, Dangwoo, Asher, and Spellzap, kind of got into the community way back in, a few years ago. We would race things, and then we would talk about it afterwards, or we would sit in voice chat and race things. Um, but what I really learned was from like racing somebody like if you're lucky enough to get like a spell zap or a crab cake in a race and they maybe stream it. They may not stream it. If they don't stream it, that's fine. But they're always willing to talk to you about how the run went and how to improve yourself. And so running against somebody like them or like even a dead pulse, like just somebody who's like just is really awesome at the game, and you can just talk to them about it afterwards and pick their brain, and they can give you some ideas. Fizzle helped me a lot when I first joined the community. He would like message me after races, and he would be like, "Hey, you went into Elfland like 4 times. Why did you do that?" And I'm like, "I don't." It's just those kind of things that you may not think about at the time until somebody brings them up, which is kind of the purpose of the VOD review that we're doing right now. So,
I'm glad.
yeah,
I'm
you like
glad
how
that's
I
how you described it. Hopefully, you can get spell zappers easy. Uh, I guess Dead Pulse. Like
oh,
I'm
shut
the
the fuck up.
consolation
Shut
prize.
you, you, yeah, and I just
Oh,
squirted
I
all over
jest. But no, Ping Me to Race, absolutely amazing. Because even if it doesn't succeed, like oh my goodness, preparing for my Duck Derby, I probably Ping Me to Race on the days that I had off, 2 or 3 times. I mean, the first flag set for then and now are pretty quick. Most people should be completing them in under an hour after playing them once, and that's about as far as I'll go with that. So it's not a huge time commitment, but absolutely, like Pygmy to Race, a lot of the veterans are ready, willing, and able to run, and definitely ask them questions like, "Hey, what did you do here?" Ask if they'd like to stream it so you can compare on your own.
exactly.
But I definitely suggest practice. I bet anything that I practiced at least once a day for 3 weeks going into the Duck Derby.
Yeah. I mean, when you talk about practicing, even though I joke about how I don't practice ever anymore, I still play like probably I still probably play about like 3 or 4 seeds a week, like, of just anything. Like, I'm playing a lot of FFR even though I'm not really as competitive as I once was. So, um, if you have the time, again, I
That's
understand all adults here, we have jobs. Some of us may have children, wives, and those kind of things, put the time in if you can. If you can't, that's fine. But just, go out there and practice and try your best to get better if that's what you want to do. And then Will Bloodworth in chat pointing out that AP is great. Once you get past practicing on a competitive level, you could always go into the archipelago thing, learn how to do that, and then just hop in a voice chat with a bunch of people and have a good time and just not worry about being competitive at all.
I mean,
Which is kind of
you could use Derby Flags with AP. Danny is correct there, but you'd have to yeah, there's a you'd have to turn them a little bit loose. But
yeah.
but anywho, if you haven't been paying attention over the last 6 weeks or the last 5 minutes, please, if you want to win this thing, you gotta practice. You can't. You're not just gonna walk into it and waltz away with the championship. If you do, I will eat my hat. That is a guarantee.
Yeah, if you are the kind of person that can go in there, not practice one time, and you somehow become the Duckling Supreme, just let us know, and we
Yeah,
will gladly eat our hands. Like I
yeah,
will eat my left hand, and I am left-handed, which means I will have to relearn everything right-handed, and
yeah.
that's just kind of how the life is going to have to be.
Who do you think you are,
But
Sir Lancelot?
But before we go on ahead and keep things moving, and I'm totally cutting Dead Pulse off. I'm sure he wants to do other things. Just remember, this is our last. Well, we have one more VOD review. I think we're going to do another Rich Fork review,
Correct.
correct?
Yes.
At some point, and maybe not right this second, but we're going to do it at some point. Outside of this, I mean, this is pretty much it for what we're doing. No more Duckling Boot Camp stuff. No more Platy Party. We've already crowned the Platy Party person in Shin Bobby. So Duckling Derby. It starts in what 6 days,
Six
right? Like what are
days.
6 days? Yeah. So it starts January 4th, Group One. You know who you are if you're in Group One, and that'll be the flag set for Duckling Derby Week One, which I think we're calling Canaria something or another. I, I gotta look at the thing. Good
There
lord.
was a lot of time and effort placed in making those names.
Yes, I literally did not come up with them on the fly at all. Like I thought about these names a lot. Okay, Canarius Circuit. That is going to be the flag set for week one. Group one is going to be starting, and I think that if I remember correctly, we have figured out what broadcast partner we're going to be on. Let's look at the chat here, and we have Speed Gaming is going to be doing our Tuesday races. So a Speed Gaming channel, one of their channels. It might be Speed Gaming 1, it might be Speed Gaming 6. Who knows? But we will be on one of those channels on not Randomania on that date, Tuesday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, uh, January 4th, and then Group 2 will race Sunday night, January 9th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on RPG Limit Break. And obviously, we'll let you guys know when that stuff happens. You'll get a spectator race announcement thing that'll let you know where these races are happening. And probably soon, I would say probably like at least on Monday, we will go on ahead and ping our race crew to get some crew involved in this because Dead Pulse and I can only do so much, right? We're gonna need some people to help us out, with some
Nobody
tracking.
wants to hear my voice for any longer than they have to.
Yeah, restreaming, tracking, and all that stuff. I mean, Tuesday at 9:30, that is like my bedtime. So that is just not going to happen on Tuesday. So we're going to need help there. So if you are out there, you're not racing, specifically if you're in Group 2 and Group 1 is racing, and you're like, man, I could totally like talk about these races. Well, give yourself the race crew role here in the Discord, and you can help out on Tuesday the 4th or 11th or 18th or 25th if you're available. Just show up and talk about the race, help with tracking. I'm sure somebody can help you out there. Same thing with the Sunday race. If you're on Tuesday and you're available Sunday night, show up and hang out and talk about the races. We always need some new people to help us out with crew. So that's all I really have to say about that. Do you have anything to add before we move on?
I guess the last thing is just for any ducklings that are part of the Derby. When we load up the race room, there's going to be a kind of, hey, who wants to volunteer for a restream? We're going to need 4 people per night. So since we've got 13 racers, if you don't want to volunteer, you do not have to. Do not feel pressured, obligated, anything like that. It is purely optional. But also, if you want to be restreamed, please let us know. Anybody who wants to, we're gonna get on the restream one of the 4 weeks. Anybody who doesn't want to, that is absolutely acceptable. But just be if you want it, ask for it. If you don't want it, don't ask for it. Simple.
Yeah,
I
and that's
used to
pretty.
be coy about it, like because I'm like I really don't want to be on restream. Sometimes someone's like, "Oh, do you want to be on restream?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I could." No, just you know what? If you don't want to, just say you know what? No, thank you. If you do want to, yes, please.
Thing if you haven't done it already, go to racetime.gg and just set up an account. It's super easy. It's just kind of like setting up Discord. So you just go there, you put in all your information, your Discord ID, your Twitch ID, just all the things you would want to put on there, set up a password and your name and all that, and it'll give you the information. And then as far as getting into the room is concerned, well, when we announce the race, we'll post the race room in the announcement. You'll click on that race room, takes you to the race room on Racetime GG. If you're not already logged in, log in super quick, and then just hit join race, and boom, you're in the race. It's that simple. It is literally the easiest interface I can think of as far as making sure you are, uh, competitively running or racing any sort of video game that I've seen. Because we used to do speed runs live a lot way back when, and it was significantly harder. This is way more user friendly, in my opinion.
This
Um,
broadcast brought to you by RacetownTime.gg.
Yeah, Race Town, freaking Flavor Town over here. All right, so without without without
Let's do
further
this.
ado, let's do it. Estolia, giving us our. It looks like it's going to be. It says Duckling Week 4 spoilers, but this is actually Week 4 boot camp. So it's not the Week 4 of the Duckling Derby. It's the couple of weeks ago boot camp. Obviously, you can say that now. It says boot
Yeah,
camp on it.
this was the actual seed, and if you hadn't played it yet, I'm sorry. Like I'm not gonna like these are gonna be spoilers, but I'm not gonna broadcast that right now. Like it's been 2 weeks.
So So one thing I will, if you go back to their run, uh, she really understands kind of what the blessings are and what the flags are. She goes over kind of everything as far as flags are concerned and stuff. I mean, obviously we can do that now off stream, but it's good to go back and watch her run because they really understand kind of the flags in general. There's one thing I did want to touch on because I did watch this beforehand is I want to talk about strength and kind of what that means when you see a plus or minus strength because some people can be like, oh my god, strength, that's incredible, I want to see all the strength, but it's not really that important. But I'm gonna let Dead Pulse kind of go over everything since he knows a little bit better than me.
All right, so let's talk about the stat strength. How strength works is only applies to weapon damage. For every 2 points of strength you have, it adds 1 weapon damage. Now, it's not 1 damage because how weapon damage is converted to real damage. Once you get a hit, it is then rolled between 1 and 2 times of what your weapon damage is. So let's say your weapon damage is 50. If you get a hit, your damage is going to be between 50 and 100. So basically, every 2 points of strength you have translates into an average of 1.5 damage that's actually
Hmm.
done per hit. So
Yeah.
when you have plus 20 strength, that basically adds to 10 more weapon damage, which is 15 more on average per hit damage. So um, it's nice. Don't get me wrong, but it's not deal breaking because what is a casting temper adds what 16 weapon damage,
14.
14 weapon damage. So a temper is worth 28 strength.
Yeah.
So if you put it like that, yeah, I could. I now 40 strength on like a fighter. That's really good. It's a temper and a half. So, but as far as black belts go, if you have a character that doesn't have a weapon equipped, strength is absolutely meaningless. It does not factor in to the black belt's physical attack calculation. And if you have any more, I hope this kind of explained it. But if you have any more questions about strength or any of the other stats, feel free to take them to the Discord in the New Player Duck Pond. If you don't understand my ramblings, someone else can probably say it better.
Yeah. One thing I do want to say real quick about this thief, since we have it kind of on pause here,
Oh,
the fighter swords. I know there's a little bit of confusion about fighter swords. Fighter swords literally means you can equip anything the fighter can equip. Now, for a thief, once you get the class change, thief can basically, or ninjas can basically equip anything a knight can equip aside from like the X-Cal. But if it was like maybe the red mage or something like that, and you saw fighter swords, you're not going to be able to equip knight swords at class change. It is only fighter swords at pre class change. So that's really important, especially if you see like a malice of thief swords on a fighter, because once that fighter does class change, they can only still equip those thief swords, and it's pretty bad. Um, but we're kind of going over everything now. Huge agility there on that black mage and luck as well. I didn't see what the fighter had, but I wanted to say it was like maybe a negative on strength and like a couple of decent enough buffs. And then I think the white mage and the red mage weren't like that great. So we're gonna go ahead and get this thing started here. First things first, we're going into black magic. Do you go into black magic first or white magic first?
nope. White magic first, always, in case fade is there until I learn about it. Because this is exactly it. Because now the red mage has lit 2 in the first slot instead of fade.
Yeah. So I was gonna kind of go over that real quick. Always check white magic until you find fade. Um, just because again, you don't want a situation where you pick up lit 2 on your red mage and then find fade, um, in that same slot, and then now you're menuing around to fade. All right, so we have
Oh,
no loose
cutting
items
this
here, if
off
I
too
remember
much.
correctly.
Yeah,
Hmm?
correct. I'm gonna try to fix this on the fly because it looks like something.
Got big money out of that chest, so I like this play only if you're really trying to get some money. Bones, oh my gosh. You hate to see Blaze Bones. Do we have camping gear starting off?
Oh, that was weeks ago, Craig Puff. Who can remember?
Ooh, we had a game when save over, or sorry, good lord, save when game over there. So that kind of helped out a little bit.
Yeah. So yeah, by the by, we're running this on 2x speed, so this is this is not for realsies. I do like checking those chests just to because we knew that the chime was there, hoping to get a little cash to buy that chime right off the bat.
Yeah, I was gonna say normally if you don't have loose items, I'm not sure I'm checking the chest right away in Toph, but since we knew the chime was there, we may as well get the extra money. Um, again, normally I wouldn't be happy about checking black magic before killing the pirates, but we know we have the money, so it's fine to do this. And we got heal 3 here, so that's pretty awesome. Um, with this party, I'm not sure I'm checking um um weapons,
Yeah.
especially picking up weapons.
I mean, if I only had lit two, um, and if I didn't have the fade, I might check that just because.
Yeah. Coal is going to be the ruby. And then we're looking over stuff. Nothing great there. We know we didn't need to check the item shop there because we had already seen the chime. We didn't reset. So anytime you ever save in an item or in the inn, always reset out. It's just way quicker than walking out of the city, obviously. All right, pretty excited. That silver sword's pretty good. Would you spend $1,000 on silver swords here?
I'd buy my magic first
Yeah, it's kind of what I was thinking
because
too. This is a stacked level 3 magic here.
yeah,
I mean, that's huge. Ice 3, Fire 3, Cure 4, Invis 2, Warp. That's a lot, especially for that red mage.
yeah.
What are you picking up at this point? If
Oh
you
my
had all
goodness.
options for your red mage, I feel like the Cure 4 is definitely it's a must.
Yeah, Ice 3, Warp, and Cure 4 are probably what I'm gonna pick.
Yeah. Especially since that Fire 3 was super expensive. All right, turn in the crown. I like this play right away. Get you some extra levels, especially early on.
What I like doing about, or what I like about this is if you have a house, to be able to do that, get up to your level 6. At level 6, you have 2 charges of level 3 magic with the black mage and 1 charge with the red mage. That's 3 charges. That's enough to get you out of the bottom of Marsh Cave.
Yeah,
So that's kind of, I think that's exactly what I did here.
yeah. Now, one thing I will say about this run here is I think you were at least level 5 coming out of here. So, don't be skimpy on the warp charges. Get yourself out of there. It just saves a little bit of time. Outside of that, I mean, this is pretty solid, pretty pretty smooth run. Obviously, you missed walking in front of that door, but whatever, it's
Yeah.
fine. Not a
Oh, I
huge deal.
completely forgot we had monster in a box.
All right, so this is where Fade really is going to shine here because it's non-elemental. You can kill things like the mud gulls that are uh, that have no resistances. Oof, scorpions suck. Can we talk
Yeah,
about how much they are just trash enemies?
they're the worst.
Yeah, there's our canal, and it wasn't. Huh, that was weird. Shouldn't that have been blocked by a spike chest?
No, no, this flag set we don't have trap tiles on or spike tiles
Ah,
on, and then we have monster in a box, which don't have
yeah.
incentives, but they have elite gear. So
Ah, I see. All right, so again, so one thing I will say is I noticed we're not healing. I'm assuming we didn't pick up heals coming in here.
I think we had like a heal 3 that we
But
used a
like as
little
far
bit
as like
of, but
heal items,
no, I don't think she picked those up.
yeah. So that's kind of one of those things too, especially any dungeon you're diving at all. If you know you're going into a dungeon, you've already visited 2 cities, you got to pick up them heals because there's
Oh
nothing worse than like
yeah,
yeah taking a dumb wipe out of a place like that. But
I'm sorry,
luckily, getting in
I got excited.
gold bracelets are super cheap. Holy
Oh,
moly!
something I
There we
needed.
go.
I
There's the heals.
Thank goodness. One thing. So when you walked out of Marsh Cave, you took a step and then saved. This is a habit that you really need to break because that when that first step turns into wolves with crack and you lose that entire thing when you could have prevented it by saving it right on top of Marsh Cave. And you know what? If you play 100 seeds, it'll probably never happen to you. But you know when it's going to happen? When you're in the finals of the Duckling Derby.
Yeah, and then I think I feel like she was like hearing us in the past because obviously left Elflin, realized hadn't saved yet, had to go back to Elflin to save. Um, but so far, I mean, this is pretty solid. Like coming out saving before checking this, like that's a vet move right there.
Mm-hmm.
In case you don't get anything you want out of here, you can just reset out of it. Or if you wipe, obviously, on this box, you can, go right back in. There's our ribbon,
Oh,
big pickup.
delicious.
Yeah. Let's see if we use the warp. I mean, we have warp at level 3 or level 1 or level 3. Is it level
Level
3?
3, yeah, we
Level 3,
probably
yeah.
should have used warp there.
Mm. So remember, if you do have warp or exit, spam those. They are like the most valuable time saving spells probably in the game. Um, just to get in and out of dungeons. Every warp you don't use, I mean, that's just like a second or two that you're adding up. Like you're not using warp here, so then that's a couple more seconds that you lost walking out of Sardis Cave and then out of Titans. You didn't save going into here, so again, those crack wolves would have put you back a little bit if you ran into those. But I do like the save there, resetting out of that battle. And then we have the canoe and the floater, so we're up in the air here pretty quickly. At
Yeah, we're
only about
doing it.
yeah, and well, Bloodworth. The best time saving spell is the run spell.
That's
Actually, the best time saving spell is
Cure
saving.
4.
Yeah, cure 4, heal 3, knowing you're about to get an encounter, saving before it, and then resetting out of the encounter before you even have to deal with the animations of trying to run away from a battle. Mm,
Oh,
peds, let's
delicious
go.
peds, delicious.
Love it. Love that you're taking the peds. Always got to take the peds early on. Here we go. Nice floater. Now we're in the air. Beautiful move going straight to Crescent. Didn't need to check that for any. Well, yeah, I mean, you can grab some
We do need
cabins.
that. I would like to see some houses because then you could have a more liberal use of your warp and not feel like a problem.
Yeah. Checking all this. Exiting the vanilla slot. Thank you. Can't
Gross.
use it. Yeah. Can't pick up exit when it's in slot 2 of level 6 because that's where it exists in the vanilla game. And you can't use exit before class change. And here we go. We got an herb, so that's a pretty easy thing. Again, using warp here. I know I'm kind of beating that dead horse to death, but I want to like really just make it just beat it into your head, like how important it is to use warp as liberally as possible, as you say. Cockatrices with Blaze too. What is this? The vanilla script? What's happening here? Or sorry, the Medusa script? What is going on here?
I like leaving there. I just, you know what? We're done. We're not dealing with
Yeah,
that.
we're done. Yeah, yeah. Now, the one thing I don't like is that we were literally next to Elfland Castle and we didn't turn in the herb. But I do like going to ordeals.
So there's a plus and a minus. Technically, you're correct. Um, However, I would contend that we're fishing for the tail, and if the
Mhm.
tail is here, or whatever leads, like if the tail is here, then we're already in position, and then can immediately go north up to Elfland.
Yep.
So that's what I would
Luckily,
think. But
one thing I want to do point out is like this ordeals was like not nearly as trolly as ordeals I've seen in the past. But again, as Stoli is pointing out, I don't want to beat this dead horse to death, but I gotta like keep mentioning it. Is like if you had the houses and you got the warp at level 3, you should be warping yourself all over this place. Every time you hit a bad pillar, it's just way quicker to use warp. I hate the way that
yeah,
that ordeals pushes you out. I do that exact same thing that just happened.
exit is what will put you in the other spot, the left spot, the
Yeah.
best spot.
So good thing this didn't end up being a huge issue. Obviously, if we turn in the crystal, go to the herb, we're still, we hadn't really lost too much time, so it's fine. And I saw you pointing out, didn't realize you could do that with warp. Yeah, if you use warp in ordeals, it will take you back to the previous pillar. So if you get lost in ordeals, it's like warp is the two places I feel like warp is the or sorry, three places I feel like warp is the most valuable is ordeals, waterfall, and ice cave. Now, obviously, it's good in sky as well. I mean, warp's good everywhere, but those are like the three places where I'm like, oh man. Sometimes I will route certain places out until I find warp. And there's our loot, so ordeal's paying out big time. Sorry, I just like was just talking like crazy. All right, so one thing I will say about this, okay, so we went back to Canary to pick up Temper. Um, I would have probably gone back there after class changed, so you could get your night spells as well. It wasn't great night spell. I mean, it was fade, which is a good night spell, but it's like you're not using temper right away, especially if you're going to go back into ice tape, unless you plan on killing some fiends. Which obviously now you're going to go kill some fiends. So I'm going to eat those words.
I'd still, you know what? With two casts of fade with a silver sword +4 and temper, I think we have fast at level 2. I would have done it
Yeah,
even without temper. Like a silver sword +4, or really like any sword, even like a rapier +4, you're still gonna do enough damage against carry as a level 12 to. No, you got minus strength. Never mind.
yeah.
Like where minus
Uh,
strength really affects you is going to be like when you're sub level 15.
yeah. People pointing out in chat, are we not grabbing the admin here? Maybe waiting on the TNT could potentially be the case here, especially without the key. I mean, adamant's like right inside, so it doesn't cost you too much, especially if you use warp. But yeah, that is an interesting question. Now, granted, we are in volcano, which I think is, I'm pretty sure is incentivized. I'm gonna have to pull the flags up super duper quick.
I thought it was
Um,
random incentive
it's
location
random.
here.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. There's our rod. So while we didn't get the TNT here, we have our rod. And at this point, when you're doing random volcano or random any dungeon, when you find your loose item or your key item in there, how many more boxes are you opening up?
That would probably be anything that is within like 4 steps or by 3 second rule.
Okay. So again, are you diving the rest of this without saving without your black
No,
mage?
no, no, no. I'm warping out. I would have warped out immediately after finding the rod, saved, and then thought about diving back in.
Now we
Um,
do have save when game over, so it's not like the worst thing to do this because we are, as long as you don't reset, as long as you don't reset after the wipe, you should be fine. You'll be able to keep your rod and everything. Now going into this carry battle without healing, that was
oh
a bold
yeah,
move right
you
there.
gotta. I respect carry. I will always respect carry.
And this goes to
Because
show right
carry
now
is
just how,
scary.
yeah, how worthless that that silver sword can be at times. And this carry battle's getting out of control real quick. And unfortunately, we did wipe, but no reset, so that's fine. Which means we get to keep the rod, and we can come back later and kill carry when we're feeling a little bit, better.
That's fine. I mean, I respect the move of, you know what? I'm already here. I might as well take the minute and a half and see if I can get a cheeky kill. It was a call. It didn't pay off that time, but if it did pay off, oh, that would look like such a big brain play.
Yeah, that carry was, like you said, a little bit on the scary side. I like that you remember that you can equip the white shirt, especially when you don't have anything else to equip. May as well throw it on there because white shirt +5. I mean, that's an opal bracelet. It's kind of good. Plus, you have the fire and the death resistance. So
Oh,
yeah,
who can
pretty
remember?
pretty decent. Yeah, exactly. But no, I definitely agree with you. I do respect carry. I don't mess around when it comes to carry. Here's our tail, which is good for this party. Uh-oh, we
Oh,
know
oh
Cocktrice
no.
Blaze is gonna get scary real quick. Here it comes. Luckily, Blaze is in the fire family, so the knight resisted it, and we are good to go. Let's see if we can use our warps. Oh no, we lost our black mage.
I think we still have him on. I think we picked it up on the red mage, but I don't think we have enough.
Yeah, but it's fine. I mean, if we're going through here, we may as well finish clearing this place up. Save when game over really like changes your strategy towards things because if you wipe, it's totally fine. You get to keep everything you got. You get to keep all your levels. May as well keep diving.
Yeah. And it's a free heal.
Pretty much. So we got? We got the tail that's going to get us somewhere. Got our loot. Haven't seen the key yet. Oh, I guess I can look at I can look at the
There's
tracker.
a
It's right in front
Greggly
of me.
Puff. There's an auto tracker right there.
Hmm. Who made that auto tracker? Dang it! Oh, a
Oh,
fighter. Oh, by the way, if you ever run into a fighter, throw a quad X at them. They are 99% of the time going to run over or under 300 HP, and it's a good way to get experience real quickly. because they pretty
Um,
much resist everything else.
Another thing I will say, monster in a box. If I saw a single fighter in a monster in a box, I would have run away from it and reopened the chest hoping for two fighters because that experience is so delicious.
Yeah. All right, so now we got the tail. Let's see if we're going to turn in the adamant. Going back to Canaria. Oh, because we didn't save in Crescent. Just remember to use your resets there. I know this is a lot, right? Obviously, you're a new runner. Don't feel like we're like shitting all over your plays. We're just kind of talking about them. Um, just point out random stuff. Obviously, I think you're realizing it as you're watching it, or probably as you're playing it, because I've definitely been in that situation where I'm like, oh man, I did that was really dumb. Like, why did I do that? So good way to go through this battle here. Nice fast fade, tempers,
Mhm.
awesome. Level 16. What happens if you gain a level during the Bahamut fight? Do you class change beforehand, or do you class change
No, class
after the
change is
battle?
activated after the fight.
Ooh, that's brutal.
Yeah.
Right, so we're in here to do the adamant turn in. There's the Vorpal. Would you? I mean, I guess that's the best thing
Nope.
you got so far.
Eh, eh.
Okay. So one thing I do want to point out here, I'm noticing right now, is that we are equipping our mages. There is absolutely no reason in the history of ever to have put any items or weapons on your mages, unless, of course, it is part of a strategy towards killing a boss. Like what I mean by that is, for instance, if scaling's ridiculously high and you're scared because your knight doesn't have life and you have a mass immune, so you want your white mage to be kind of the carry because you have like a root, you have ruse on your white mage and you have a massa and power bonk, but in life on that white mage, but you don't have a way to potentially bring everybody back to life if the fighter survives, then yes, put a weapon on that white mage and get that strategy going. But outside of that, there's no reason to put like a heel stick or like a silver a silver dagger on those black or white mages. Now clearing up your inventory, I'm totally fine with
Yeah, yeah. You see, because what also happens, and not just for that reason, what also happens is then you get cute, and you go, oh look, my black mage can equip a Vorpal, or look, I've got a silver dagger +5. You're going to attack, in which case you should not be attacking with the black mage. That's not going to do any damage compared to casting literally any damaging spell.
yeah. And then another thing I do want to point out real quick, spending 45,000 on that steel armor when you could have just grabbed the gold bracelet for like 8,000. Again, the gold bracelet isn't as absorb heavy, but you know that rare items are going to be behind monster in a boxes. You could go through this entire game just taking monster in a boxes and then get all the night gear you want. You don't really need to spend 45 grand on anything in this game unless it's like, temper at level 7 and clamping is like super high. So again, I'm not trying to I always feel bad because I don't want to like make people feel bad about my commentary about their plays, but it's just kind of things you got to think about when you're playing the game. Like 45 grand, that's a ton of houses. That's like every pro ring and gold bracelet you could have picked up for your party. So we're back.
One thing that I like to do when I'm running through Volcano, by this time, like you should have a grasp of how your hard reset encounters look. And I noticed there was a back-to-back encounter early. So if you know that you're going to make it all the way, I'm fine without healing. But in this case, like um, you try to map out the encounters in your head and see about how far. And if you know there's a double encounter coming up, as soon as you fight that first battle, heal up just in case it's something scary.
So I want to answer a question from Forsaken Sadness. If you do have a thief in your party, and you do upgrade to the ninja, you do the class change or whatever, they can learn any spell that lands between level 1 and 4 in any slot in the game. So basically, just that first half of the magic pool. they can learn. So if Nuke, Fast Tempers, Saber specifically is one of those kind of huge spells. If you do have a thief in your party, if it rolls 1 through 4, you want to pick up. Um, so yeah, it is definitely one of those things. And then same thing with Knight. It's basically those the red wizard spells that you can learn between levels 1 through 4. So Knights can learn slots 1, 3, and 4 at level 1, everything at level 2, and slots 1 and 3 at level 3. So if life, cure 4, ruse, life 1, any of those kind of spells of fade lands in any of those slots, then yeah, that makes that knight even more of a commodity, as they say. So I like going through here, kind of just checking for um, we I don't think the incentive is until past Rod, or do we even have Earth turned on?
Is it a serious question?
Yes. Sorry.
I have no idea. This was weeks
Sorry,
ago.
I know this was weeks ago. Dang it! We meant to pull
It
this up, and
probably is. It probably is behind
but
behind.
I do like checking only for spike chests because A, you can get some pretty juicy XP, and B, you're going to get all the juicy gear from those because we do know it's good gear out of those. Cockstrices with Blaze. This is worse than vanilla where they just turn your entire party to stone. Luckily, we got away. Now moving. Oh my gosh, keep continuing moving without healing. This is like some scary stuff right there.
Yeah, especially with you know that there's blaze cactuses everywhere. At this point, I would just be screaming like, "Oh God!" Like birds aren't real. That's all I would be, saying to myself. So I'm rocking back and forth.
Yeah, this is like Hitchcock from the grave coming at you with all these birds here. I do like again continuing to check at least those. Now we got our cube out of that box because obviously it was random past gating, which would be past the rod room, right? We don't need to check the rest of this. So as you can see, she's not checking the rest of this. We're gonna go kill Lich, get our second orb lit, and at this point, what are we down to? Do we need the chime? Looks like.
Oh, I
I'm trying
blocked
to.
out that part. No, we already have the chime. We're missing the
No, it's the
key and the
Axial.
oxial.
Yeah. Yeah, Axial key, and then we still have the TNT, the slab in the bottle out there somewhere.
Uh,
Chime, I forgot, came from the vendor item like a million years ago. Blink and you miss it. Lich, just kind of a pushover.
a quick thing. Lich is actually strong against Quad X, resistant against
Mhm.
Quad X. So Quad X really isn't going to work. Zap or Quake are what you're looking for.
Yeah, those are the insta kills that'll kill Lich. Now, normally I would say, yeah, I'm not going to go to Waterfall until I have the Axial, but I think we're at the point now where are you full clearing a sky looking for it, or are you just gonna go hop into Waterfall super quick and get the
I'm
item
gonna
out of there and hope that
I'm
it's
gonna
the
go hop
Axial.
into Waterfall.
Um, it's kind of what I was thinking as well. It's just such a quick dungeon, especially with warp. And then we have the exit at level whatever.
Yeah. Let's
All
talk
right,
about was that level 8 or was that level 7 spell?
that looked like a level 8 spell.
I missed it. Well,
Man, that
regardless, we're
Gaia.
still looking at like level 20 for level 7 spells and level 25 as the level 8 spells. So you're probably not going to get up to 25
Mhm.
unless you hit a bunch of war mechs.
All right, I'm actually gonna finally do my job. We're trying to help these newer runners out, but then we didn't bother to actually look at the flags beforehand. I'm gonna pull them up real quick. And we have a vanilla Sky Palace, so maybe going into Sky first and just going straight to the incentive box would have been the play here.
Yeah. Um,
Um,
I
but
I love going to Waterfall. I'm just if you know anything about me, you're like, oh, I like to go to ordeals. Well, I also go to Waterfall more than anybody else because um, if Waterfall is the Oxyale, literally everybody's going to last location it. You get a huge advantage if that's the case. And if it's not the case, you don't lose that much time. So, like, the cost benefit analysis of going to Waterfall at this juncture is exceedingly high.
Yeah, and the thing with this too is that we know 100% that what we need is in these 2 dungeons. We need whatever's here because there's only 2 incentive locations left. We got the sky that we're inside of right now, and we've got whatever's in Waterfall. And we know we need the key and we know we need the Oxyel. Now, there's obviously a little bit of like stuff in the way. Obviously, the TNT is going to be out there, bottle and slab. And no one wants to see bottle that turns into slab because that's a routing nightmare.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like what you said, I mean, if you're in Waterfall and you can like get that Oxyale out of there, if you're lucky enough that that ends up working out for you, I mean, you can go into Sea Strand right away, and then you got people last location in that Oxyale. So here we go, coming through here. Not sure I'm checking Bane sword chest. Not sure I'm checking. Still looking for a weapon better than a silver. You got the Vorpal -2. It's not awesome,
Well, is
but
the did we incentivize the Maspian in this one or did we not?
no, just
We
the
know we
Vorpal.
incentivized the Vorpal. That's right.
Mhm.
I can see checking these chests because you're uncomfortable not only about the levels but about the weaponry choice.
Yeah,
This
I
is
would
like a
definitely,
50-50 for me.
yeah, I would definitely be popping into rooms. Like you again utilizing warp here. This is a good room to utilize warp in as well. Sky 3 is another room that's great to utilize warp in. Just pop it into the room, see if you see an X on the treasure chest. If you don't, just get out of the room. There's no reason to check the room. If you're looking for good gear, you're not going to find it in a chest that doesn't have an X on it. And as you can see, she did that. Looked right in there, didn't see any X's. Walked out of that room knowing that we weren't going to get an X gal or a Masa out of there. One thing I do want to check here, see if we maybe vanilla the Masa. I think we did on these flags. No, it doesn't look like it. All right, so nothing in there. Always take Gurmedusas. Well, I guess you got enough levels. So Sky's one of those places. There's your TNT. We know that's going to lead to something. Sky's kind of one of those places you always want to take battles at, especially if you got a Fade at level 1. You got 2 people that have Fade at level 1. I mean, you're going to take down Gurmedusas pretty easily. Manticores are going to go down pretty easily. The Slime battle is going to go down pretty easily. And you're also going to get just tons of level from all these battles.
Yeah. Metal slimes do a lot of experience. I pretty much take anytime I have mana cores or what I call fire hydrants, which are the red hydras. Obviously eyes. Um, uh, what is the nightmare men? What are they
Yeah.
called?
Yeah. Evil Man.
Evil men. Thank you. That
Evil
had
Man and Nightmares.
nuke back in the day.
Yeah.
Nightmare men. I just combined the two of them.
Yeah, it is Will Bloodworth is pointing out in chat. Sky 2 really is an EXP bonanza. Um, and then there's other floors here. Like if you see Whiz Vamps, good EXP, Fighters, good EXP, the R Hydra's good EXP. Like that one there, I think you got the jump on him. You could have probably attacked him, thrown a fade or a just any amount of anything, and always know what you have in your inventory too as far as like magic is concerned. Like here you threw a fade out, but the ice 3 would have worked a little bit better there. You could have saved the fade charge for something later. Because you again, Chimera is kind of the same thing. If you wanted to take that battle, use the ice 3. You got your quad X that you can throw out at these guys. Just always know what you have. It's all about like I guess what is it like spell conservation or whatever.
Yeah. Like we're running pretty low on spells at this point.
Oh my gosh,
Oh my goodness. Yep. You just keep going. I wouldn't even heal at this point. You just keep going. You're probably dead. Take it. Take all your loot and leave.
gosh, Medusas with nuke. That is some scary. That is when I'm using warp all day every day. Checking this bottom room. There's nothing down here, but that's fine. I mean, if you don't know the game or if you're new to the thing, it's totally fine. Get it.
You can visit the robots.
Yep.
Sir Tobalot, yes, Quad X will kill anything that has 300 HP or less and is not resistant to, or I'm resistant to the death spell.
Yeah, so death elementals,
That sounds
things,
great.
yeah, death elemental, like anything undead obviously resists death elemental. There's a couple other things I want to, like things that you may not think about, like man cats resist death. Um, nightmares resist death, which is that was always kind of weird to me, but I guess they're like the pale horse of death. Um, so forth and so on.
It's
And
really
that was
dark.
kind of, yeah, that was kind of crazy that those R hydrants freaking ambushed and they throw out ice 3. Who are you even? All right, so we're up against Tiamat here. This would be good if you had. This is a good battle to, like, if you see Brack or Bane kind of early, to definitely make sure you pick up in an early slot just because you have kind of your win condition against
Yeah,
this.
I think Bane was level 6. We didn't have the
Yeah,
money for it at the time, but we do have a Bane sword. We did pick that up. I like to throw the Bane sword on, guess what? The White Mage. And
yeah.
while the white shirt, like you're doing stuff, that's absolutely fine. Um,
Tier
Bane has this.
four.
Someone let me know what Bane's chance is on Tia. I always forget. It's like what 13% or something.
Yeah, it's about 13%. So one thing I want to point out here is if your person's ever in stun touch like this, stun lock, you do have cure 4 on that white mage. Now I don't know if you have any charges of it, but if you do have charges of it, you can always use your cure 4 in battle and it will heal any status ailment. Um, but I do like the way you're playing this battle, getting those fasts out there, getting those tempers out there, trying to make sure your knight is like good to go. Um, getting those quad X's out there too. Tiamat a little on the squishier side. You got to at least do 1,000 damage before you can even consider throwing a quad X because it is 100 to 150%. And there goes that cheeky quad X taking him down. Love it. And here
All
we
right.
are. Only got one more fiend left. We gotta turn in this TNT and see if this turns into the Oxyale. If it does, it makes it look like a genius. Slab, of
Ick.
course. Ick. There we go. No exit. Perfect. Hey, look, Melmond. This is the way Melmond should have looked after you killed the vampire. Like, I never understood doing all that stuff to make Melmond a better place, and then Melmond just looks the same all the time.
It takes time to heal the Earth, Gregory Puff.
Really.
That's that's all I got.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, vampires, vampires and whiz vampires. They're undead. They don't respond to Quad X. You know what
No,
they don't like? They don't like fire.
they don't like fire, from what I've heard. I've only seen The Lost Boys a couple times, but I don't remember fire being a thing. It was mostly garlic and holy water. So yeah, still looking for the key. Slab. We translated the slab. We're going to waterfall. May as well do it. I would have preferred to turn in the slab first to see if it was the oxyale before coming here, but this is fine. Again, we may big brain this, and this could be the oxyale anyway. And then we'll just know that the slab will turn into the bottle, which will turn into the key.
Gas D is weak to Ice 3. Well,
I think
weak to
it's
the
just
ice element.
because the undead just have bad MDef in general, which is why they don't resist zap. Nothing in the game resists time elemental except for chaos, right? Yes. Anybody?
Oh, that Cindy Lauper did. That's all I got.
There's our bottle. So again, kind of
That's a
making you look
little.
like a genius
That's
here.
yeah.
So
That's a little big
yeah,
brain.
yeah, that's fine.
Chimeras don't like ice.
Yep. That's just another thing. Just knowing your weaknesses of the enemies. Throwing out an Excal. There you go. There's your weapon that you wanted. At this point, are you checking any more boxes now
Nope.
that you found the Excal? And yeah,
Absolutely not.
yeah, Excal +1. I mean, it's not going to be fantastic against Chaos, but we do have Fast and Temper, pretty low level. So at this point, yeah, that's it for boxes. That's your win condition there, is that Excal. Again, not fantastic against chaos, but it will do against the other fiend refights, especially with the elemental bonus type turned up to 30. So yeah, you're gonna be wrecking the fiend refights. Yes, I know that Will Bloodworth, that it does have a trash um a crit rate, but again, with the weapon elemental slash type bonus damage set to 30, basically it's going to do 4 times the amount of damage it would normally do against anything that resists, well, basically anything. Um, so yeah, it's gonna be pretty hardcore. I do love this play, remembering that Lefanish Superstore is turned on. So you can come here and then get all your night spells, red wizard spells, and so forth and so on,
Mhm.
and get anything else you hadn't picked up already. So this is
Delicious.
really great. This is one of those kind of this is a newer flag. So for us oldies like myself, like this is a hard one for me to route in because I just don't really think about it. So it's great that you remembered this.
I remember doing a practice race for, I think, SGL, and I ran into Warmac was guarding the mass mutant or whatever, and I ran into Warmac and I said, "Well, unrunnable, can't do anything about this," and I threw out a zap because I only had one character alive, and the zap hit. I don't know
Yeah.
what percentage that is, but
It's
cheers.
pretty it's pretty much like even though Warmack doesn't resist time, I want to say his MDef is so high it may as well be a 3 and 256 if I remember talking to Spells Up about it. He's one of those people that knows all that random stuff about chances of things landing on certain things or whatever. So we're pretty much in go mode here,
That's the
right?
set.
Where we've
Boom.
we've got our key,
Yeah,
correct? We did
we've
we
got
did.
everything. All we have to do is kill the Kraken and head into Temple of Fiends Revisited.
And it looks like our Temple of Fiends is
Oh,
going to be a long.
you were right there. You were right there. You got to go up and take the step in front of the door. I see a lot of newer runners taking the outside. Like when I started playing this, I always took the outside track there, and I always missed that door until Jat yelled at me for it. Well, he didn't yell at me. He Canadianed me. He's like, you really should take that step. And so ever since then, I always just take the inside track on that.
Yeah,
So I was
always.
very happy when you did, and then you just cut it off a little bit too soon.
Yeah, always remember to step in front of doors if you can, and then if you're inside of a room, to make sure you hug that wall. Hug the wall, as they say. Yeah, Jet really is the father of FFR, and by father I mean like he's just like he's that disappointed dad. When he talks to you, he'd never yell at you. He would never, he would never make you feel bad. He would just be disappointed in the decisions that you made. So, but here we go. We are in good business here. Um, yeah, you don't need to worry about that stuff. Going to talk to some bats, get away from them, and now we are in Temple of Fiends at 1 hour 20 minutes, which is yeah, it's not. That's a pretty respectable time for a newer player.
Mhm.
And you can see a little bit of nerves going on here, just trying to get through this thing quickly, learning everything, trying to get through this stuff. Um, what are we level 23, 24? Are we taking
I
battles?
think we're 23. No, no, I take the least amount of battles I can in Temple of Fiends. Then again, it's save on game over, so it's a different strategy because you can take battles in here and you have no fear of losing them.
Yeah.
Um,
My thought is only because you're already as high a level as you are, there's no real reason to take battles because it's slowing you down to eventually finish the game. Um, but again, if you do take the battles and you gain the XP, then if you wipe, then you have all the XP. Now, way back when runners would be a little bit more willing to hop into a Topher at lower levels than taking the levels on the way up made a little bit of sense. But again, you're pretty high level here, so I would just be like, run away. I don't need anything. I want to conserve all those tempers, fades, fast. Just everything and anything for these fiend refights.
I think in my competitive history, I have taken a fight that was not unrunnable once in a Temple of Fiends, and it was during last year's Winter Dab because one of my squares was to hit level 40 and I was level 39 and afraid I wouldn't hit 40 before the end.
Yeah. And that was a crazy carry battle. That first off, a fade landed for like 312. I don't think I've seen a fade land that high ever on a fiend refight.
Especially with Carrie. Carrie has a lot of magic resist.
Yeah, and then those infernos were landing really low, which I don't know how many ribbons we have. I feel like I only saw one.
We have two, maybe
Okay.
three. I think we have two.
All right, so keeping Kraken here in the or sorry, keeping your knight here in the front row, a little on the scary side. Especially, if that fighter goes down, how are we killing Kraken? Um, obviously keeping the white mage in the back row is a good call because, it's the person that is going to be lifing everybody. But we're good. We've made it through that.
Yeah. I the amount of armor that we have because of the blurs. Oh my goodness, we didn't heal before this. That is bold.
Zap
Oh my
coming out.
goodness, we got zapped.
Yeah, and that's another one of those things where you don't really know what to do there because yeah, if you put the ribbon on the fighter, then your white mage is dead. Oh my god, that Tia is scary. Holy holy moly, that's a rough Tiamat right there. Zap and then into nuke. Like,
Yeah,
what are you even gonna
that
do?
was about the worst possible combination outcome that could have happened.
Yeah,
But it doesn't. That
ribbon.
also doesn't mean like that it was bad luck. What I'm gonna say is that is kind of the expected what's going to happen. But now that you have the knowledge, it's going to be good to see how you what your plan is. I typically like with two ribbons. You can make the argument to have the ribbon on the black mage, but the only reason I would have a ribbon on a black mage is because any other character that I care about already has one, or I don't have life, and because the black mage has such a low HP total, I want them to not get destroyed by Fire 3. That made me sound like really cold to black mages. I I'll give him a ribbon if everyone else I care about has one. I understand the double fast here. I don't care for it specifically. Um, not in this instance. I would rather see a fade come out or a wait actually, because honestly, that fighter with the X-Cal +1, even not fasted, is probably going to take out Lich. Yes, Budgemano is absolutely correct. You have one job, Black Mage, and that is to get off fast before you die. So seafood party platter like this. I think there was a comment before about not healing. There are three places that I will absolutely heal to full. One of them is before I hit the Bridge of Destiny. One of them is before I hit this floor, and the other one is before I hit the Tiamat floor. I also heal immediately after those fights. And why is that? It is just good practice to get in the habit of. Yeah, if I could probably get away without doing it, like, oh, my fighter took 26 damage. Nope, I'm gonna heal it because that's the
Yep.
practice.
You
Get
always
into the
want to go in
habit.
full health regardless of whatever. So I do like the double fast here.
Oh my goodness, I just got done with saying how much I didn't like it.
I like the double fast. I'm a big fan of the double fast,
Eh,
especially if you think, yeah, I mean, yeah, if you get the temper out there, if you can get a fast to land and you think you're going to do more damage in one shot, it gets a little bit quicker, tiny bit. I like the double fast more with a black belt. Here comes Zap, and everybody resists it this time. Sometimes luck's just on your side, you know?
Everyone important resists it.
Yeah, exactly. And the nuke rolls low enough and everything is fine. And this right here just proves that no matter how good you are, sometimes you just need a little bit of that sweet RNG.
Yeah. Well, she moved the ribbon up to the fighter. The
Mhm,
red mage survived it, but we probably could have gotten away without that.
mhm. So yeah, that was if if we were gonna do any sort of adjustment going into that Tia battle, I think moving that ribbon was like the big thing. Right, double fast, 7 hits for not a lot, so let's go on ahead and get some tempers out there. Good, love the way this chaos battle's going. Rub lands on the red mage, that's dumb. And chaos has 2 hits, that's scary.
Yeah, we're not doing a lot of damage to that nuclear. Oh, oof,
Oof,
oof.
yeah. Good thing normally I would have been like, why are you cure four in the white mage? But yeah, I mean, it's a good thing you did so that you could maybe get another cure four out there. Crack misses everybody. Now we're doing some damage.
There we go. Yep. If you got a problem, just throw tempers at it until it goes away.
Yeah, and that goes to show right there just the big difference between using the X-Cal on like a fiend refight versus chaos. I mean, that X-Cal was doing nothing really until we got a bunch of tempers out there. But yeah, I mean, that was great. That was good adjustment going back into Topher again, knowing what you were up against with that Tia 2. And yeah, I mean, outside of what we were talking about, that was a good run.
I would say that I mean, you were talking about the loot goblin the whole time. You only had 90 chests open. Like that's not terrible. What I expect in this flag set is around 75 chests to be open. So 90 is still pretty good. Um, I would have if we beat the dead horse anymore about warp. I kind of kept a mental tally of what time frames you lost with warp, and it was around the 3 minute mark. So um, that's a really easy 3 minutes on there. A couple of different adjustments, like not going to Canaria. There was one, two, three, four. No, just the 3 times I think. No, 4 times. Um, and not stopping at like um, the weapon shop in Provoca. Just those kind of little adjustments. Otherwise, yeah, it looks like you have a head start on your grasp of the game, where all the chests are. When I started out with weaponizer, or I'm not weaponizer, Blurses, I would always also check like, oh, is my silver +4 better than my giant +5 or whatever you had. And Jad's advice was uh, the difference is meaningless. Like, yes, if I have a silver sword +3 and a dragon sword +3, and I'm taking on Tiamat, I will absolutely switch over. But all that time that you're spending with equipment would just be then. Oh my god! Oh no!
Uh,
What's happening?
oh no, I don't know.
We're good. Where was my train of thought? So, yeah, all that time is just kind of wasted trading with equipment that is just roughly equivalent. So he kind of pounded that in my head. You should only be going to your weapon menu 3 times. The first is to equip the first weapon that you have. The second is to equip like your mid-game weapon, and the third is to equip your last weapon. So basically, what I would have liked to have seen with this would have been equipping the literal first weapon that you found, which I don't remember what it was, and then when you got um, the giant sword +5 or the light axe +3 or one of those, that's your second equip, and then that Xcal is your third equip, and that would have saved another 15-20 seconds or so.
Mm,
But it's hard. It's hard. Like it's not. That's not a hard rule. Like a hard. Like you must do this. I will catch myself like, oh, I want to switch to this weapon or whatever, and do whatever feels adequate for you. But just it's the mindset of I don't need to do this, so I'm not going to, and that's
mhm,
really what you're supposed to learn out of that.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything else to add to that. I think that Deadpool said everything I would want to say there. Like I said, really good run on there outside of the things that we talked about. Obviously, the foundations are there, the fundamentals are there, as you say. Just cleaning it up a little bit is you'll do when you play the game more. If you ever catch another runner like a Dead Pulse or somebody on stream, just watch them do their thing and just see how clean everything is. Get good at menuing, so forth and so on. Outside of that, just a big reminder: Duck Derby starts next week. Group 1. going on Tuesday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, January 4th. Going to be on a speed gaming channel, speed gaming 1 through 8. Who knows which one? We'll let you know the day of. Group 2, Sunday, January 9th, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on RPG Limit Break. And then it'll be every Tuesday and Sunday on those times for 4 weeks. And then once we get our top 2 runners from groups 1 and 2, we will schedule, or they will schedule when they are doing their finales, their Duckling Supreme off, or whatever you would call it. I don't know. But that'll happen the week after week 4, which would be between, oh my gosh, I'm struggling here, between January 31st and February 6th. Then after that, spring tournament will happen at some point in time. That's going to be that's going to be coming up, obviously, in the springtime, so quite a few months away. But just keep it in the back of your mind, because that's our biggest tournament of the year. It'll be the 6th annual spring tournament. It's kind of our WrestleMania, right?
Oh yeah,
Not quite our
absolutely.
not quite our Royal Rumble or Survivor Series. It's our WrestleMania. It's our Starcade, you say. It's our Super Bowl. But I don't have anything else. No more extra credits, no more Duckling boot camps. We do have our thing that we'll do for Rich Pork at some point in time, which will obviously let him know, and whoever else that needs to know about it. And yeah, we'll do. We got at least one more VOD review in us. If you want to submit a VOD, it's fine. We're gonna keep the room open. We'll get to it. Don't feel like you don't need to, or that we won't get to it. We may have a couple more Puff and Pulse variety hours uh left in us. What do you think?
Well, anything is possible, but I
Yeah.
just want to say, Gregory Puff, thank you for taking this journey with me. The last 6 weeks have been
Mhm.
really fun doing a broadcast show. And thank you, everybody watching out there. It's always kind of nerve wracking to try to put on some sort of program outside the normal bounds and try to go above and beyond trying to teach new players how they can become speed demons. So
Yeah.
again, seriously, thank you all for supporting us, watching, and maybe we'll do some more of these.
Yeah. You guys have an awesome night. Thanks again. Join the Discord if you haven't, and we'll see you around. Have a good night.